The world's most beautiful places can hide the deadliest secrets. In northwest Cameroon, Lake Nyos sat quietly in a volcanic crater, its waters a lifeline for generations. Villagers lived in harmony with the lake, fishing, farming, and raising cattle on its fertile shores. The lake was central to their lives, a source of water, food, and identity. No one suspected the danger lurking beneath its placid surface. On August 21, 1986, the evening was peaceful. Families gathered, children played, and the lake reflected the fading light. There was no warning, no tremor, no strange cloud, nothing to suggest disaster. The villagers respected the lake but never feared it, but deep below, a silent force was building. The forces that created this volcanic lake were still at work, hidden from view. The people had no knowledge of geology or the risks beneath their feet. That night, the ancient power beneath Lake Nyos was about to awaken. The lake's calm masked a deadly secret, waiting to be unleashed. Life here was simple, dictated by the sun and the seasons. The lake had always been a peaceful neighbor, until this night. The air was filled with the sounds of daily life, unaware of the coming catastrophe. The balance between beauty and danger was about to shatter. The villagers could not have imagined the horror that would soon unfold. Lake Nyos was about to become infamous for one of the deadliest natural disasters in modern history. The disaster began not with a roar, but a whisper, a deep rumble from the heart of the lake. Survivors on higher ground later recalled the strange, gurgling sound. Suddenly, a massive fountain of water and froth shot skyward, then vanished as quickly as it appeared. An eerie silence followed, heavier than before. No fire, no lava, just a dense, white cloud forming over the water. This was not steam, but a cold, heavy fog that clung to the lake's surface. Instead of rising, the cloud spilled over the crater rim, flowing silently down the valleys. Heavier than air, it hugged the ground, moving with chilling purpose. The cloud swept through lower Nyos, entering homes and filling every low-lying space. People and animals had no warning. Many were asleep, never to wake. The gas cloud followed the land's contours, filling valleys like water in a basin. It traveled for miles, enveloping villages like Cha and Subum. No one could see or fight this invisible enemy. It was a force of nature, silent and unstoppable. In minutes, entire communities were suffocated. The killer had arrived, unseen and unheard. Dawn revealed a world transformed by deathly silence. A passing motorcyclist noticed the absence of birds, cattle, and human voices. Villages were eerily still. Figures lay where they had fallen, as if frozen in time. Survivors and rescuers found no signs of violence. Only people and animals who had simply stopped breathing. Families were discovered together, as if asleep, victims of an invisible killer. The silence was overwhelming, more terrifying than any visible destruction. Animals, too, lay dead. Cattle, goats, even insects. The landscape became a graveyard. Plants near the lake scorched and discolored. A strange, acrid smell hung in the air. Rescuers walked through villages frozen in their final moments. The cause was a mystery. No fire, no disease, just sudden mass death. It was as if a biblical plague had swept through overnight. The world had never seen anything like it. The scale of loss was almost impossible to comprehend. The invisible force had left only silence and sorrow. The true horror was just beginning to be understood. Amid the devastation, a few survived, by luck or by being on higher ground. Joseph and Quine awoke on his hut's floor, the air foul, his family gone. Survivors like Joseph described a strange warmth, then unconsciousness. Some awoke to a world emptied of everyone they loved. Others, like Afansa, remembered a rumble, dizziness, and then waking to loss. Many suffered burns and lesions, likely from the acidic gas cloud. Doctors were baffled by the symptoms: respiratory damage, skin injuries, and deep psychological trauma. Survivors faced unimaginable grief and guilt. Their stories provided crucial clues: the rumbling, the smell, the sudden collapse. These voices grounded the tragedy in human experience. The survivors' testimonies helped scientists piece together the disaster. They became living witnesses to a night when nature turned deadly. Their pain and confusion echoed the scale of the catastrophe. Their accounts would guide the search for answers. Scientists arrived to a baffling scene: mass death, but no obvious cause. The lake's water had turned a rusty red, its level dropped by nearly a meter. Vegetation was flattened, and a strange smell lingered. The evidence pointed to a massive disturbance in the lake's depths. Victims were concentrated in low-lying areas, sparing those on higher ground. The killer was likely a gas, heavier than air, flowing downhill from the lake. Investigators collected samples and performed autopsies, racing to solve the mystery. The clues all pointed to a sudden, invisible release of poison. The challenge: identify the gas and understand how the peaceful lake became deadly. The investigation quickly focused on carbon dioxide, CO2, normally harmless. In high concentrations, it's a silent killer, displacing oxygen. Scientists theorized that a vast cloud of CO2 had erupted from the lake. Lake Nyos sits atop volcanic rock, with magma releasing CO2 into the deep water. Over decades, the lake's bottom became supersaturated, like a shaken soda bottle. The water was stratified, cold, dense, gas-rich at the bottom, warm at the top. On August 21st, something triggered the release. Perhaps a landslide or tremor. The pressure dropped, CO2 bubbled out, and a chain reaction began. The result: a limnic eruption, releasing 1.2 cubic kilometers of CO2 in minutes. The invisible killer was unmasked, a rare, deadly phenomenon of natural chemistry. It wasn't a spirit, but science at its most dangerous. The lake's secret had become a catastrophe. The world now knew what had happened, but not how to prevent it. The eruption was swift and silent. CO2, denser than air, flowed down the slopes at terrifying speed. The gas displaced oxygen, causing instant unconsciousness and death. The cloud spread over 25 kilometers, suffocating everything in its path. Survivors reported burns from the acidic gas. The sheer volume, over 1.6 million tons, filled valleys like a deadly tide. The gas lingered for hours before dissipating. By sunrise, the killer had vanished, leaving a silent world behind. The scale of destruction was unprecedented. The aftermath was chaos. Over 1,700 people and 3,500 livestock dead. Survivors were evacuated, traumatized and grieving. Mass graves were dug. Entire communities were lost. International aid arrived, but the psychological scars ran deepest. Scientists warned the danger wasn't over. CO2 continued to seep into the lake. Villages near Nyos were abandoned. Survivors resettled far away. The memory of that night would haunt generations. The disaster left a permanent scar on the land and its people. The world had to find a way to prevent another tragedy. The cause discovered, scientists raced to prevent a repeat disaster. The solution: degauss the lake by installing pipes to safely release CO2. In 2001, the first degassing pipe was installed, creating a controlled fountain. More pipes followed, increasing the rate of gas removal. Scientists now monitor the lake constantly, aiming to keep it safe. The dragon beneath the lake is being tamed, but not slain. Lessons from Nyos are being applied to other dangerous lakes, like Lake Kivu. Kivu is even larger and more dangerous, with vast stores of gas. The tragedy of 1986 became a vital lesson in understanding hidden natural threats. With knowledge and vigilance, we can sometimes prevent nature's deadliest surprises. The people of Cameroon will never forget, but their loss has helped protect others. The story of Lake Nyos is a warning and a testament to human resilience. Even in the face of nature's power, we are not entirely helpless.